At the hideout, after Bien Quan-vu and the group had left, Zhang Daik sat on the sofa in the living room, fiddling with a silver lighter in his hand. He continuously opened and closed the lighter, causing a bright flame to ignite, forming a thin, sharp flame, resembling a military blade. Outside, the snow was falling heavily, but inside the shelter, it was as warm as spring. Zhang Daik stared at the flame before him for a moment, deep in thought, and finally decided to be honest and share everything with those around him. Since the investigative team had been lured to Gyeosun, this meant that a large outbreak of zombies was imminent. It also implied that the decisive battle with the zombies in Tianhai City was not far off. If everything went according to Zhang Daik's prediction, the recent battle at Bai Tuet sect was merely a farce. The real battle this time would escalate pressure to many levels. If not properly controlled, the entire city of Tianhai could be wiped out by zombies. Zhang Daik had to ensure that everything was under his control. At the very least, he had to make sure that he and those around him could survive. In the worst-case scenario, he too wanted to survive. It was time to mentally prepare them. Zhang Daik snapped the lighter shut and then spoke to the intelligent robot. Xiao AI. Xiao AI, help me notify everyone in the shelter and invite them to the living room. Understood, came the response. Shortly after, Xiao AI's voice echoed through every corner of the shelter, inviting everyone to gather in the living room. Upon hearing the voice, people looked curious. Most of them had no idea that the zombie threat had not yet been resolved. And Zhang Daik only gathered everyone when something important was happening. Thus, they were unaware of what had transpired. Only Duong Han Han had a flicker of a dark glint in her eyes as she wheeled herself away from the control panel. Just a few minutes later, everyone in the shelter had gathered in the living room, looking towards Zhang Daik. What's going on? Has something happened again? Someone asked, feeling a bit tense. They thought that the zombie crisis was over, and that they could finally enjoy a peaceful life. But Zhang Daik's serious expression made them uneasy. Duong Han Han asked, brother, did you discover something new? Zhang Daik didn't keep them waiting for long. He began directly addressing what had happened. This time, the zombie threat in Tianhai City is not a natural disaster, but a man-made one. There's a major conspiracy behind it, targeting the entire population of Tianhai City. He spoke slowly and calmly, beginning with Hao Chu-ka. Ni discovered that Nguyen Kong Da possessed many abilities, up until the point when they uncovered a large number of zombies hidden in Gyeosun. Due to the complexity of the story and the long-planned scheme, Zhang Daik had to slow down his speech, carefully analyzing everything for them. He played a recording, projecting footage from a mouse, showing everyone the location where many zombies were detected in Gyeosun. The room was filled with astonishment as wide eyes stared in disbelief. The atmosphere in the room felt strange, with peculiar expressions crossing everyone's faces. It felt like they were listening to a mystical, complicated story that kept twisting and turning. Without careful attention to every detail, it would be hard to grasp its origins. Zhang Daik said, right now, what you need to remember is that the ultimate goal of Nguyen Kong Da and the Bai Tuet sect is to destroy all the forces in Tianhai City. After that, they will seize the powers of people like us who possess abilities. What she plans to do after that doesn't matter to us. The real issue we face is how to deal with this massive problem. Duong Mat, sitting not far from Zhang Daik, turned pale at hearing this. She nervously ran her hand along her arm, muttering, she doesn't want to kill me. Does she? Zhang Daik reassured her, for now, you don't need to worry. If everything goes according to our predictions, Nguyen Kong Da's plan won't succeed. Lu Duyet, still anxious, asked, but if, as you say, Nguyen Kong Da now has at least a dozen, maybe even dozens or hundreds of abilities, who can face her? Zhang Daik rested his chin in thought and replied, there is someone. Who? They all asked curiously. Bien Quan-vu, Zhang Daik answered seriously. That name made everyone silent. Lu Duyet, along with Uncle Vu and Tu Bio, nodded in agreement. They had witnessed the terrifying power of Bien Quan-vu, a strength so devastating it could destroy everything in sight in the blink of an eye. If not for the severe side effects, Bien Quan-vu would undoubtedly have reached the epsilon level. However, for Zhang Daik, using this force was only necessary to thwart Nguyen Kong Da's plot. That night, while Zhang Daik and the others were confronting the zombie army, Bien Quan-vu's group infiltrated the underground and eliminated 6 zombishings. The number of zombies guarding the king's underground was certainly not small, but Bien Quan-vu's group still succeeded in their mission. This demonstrated that they had a method for dealing with large numbers of zombies. However, they may have had to pay a significant price, such as shortening Bien Quan-vu's already limited lifespan. Zhang Daik knew what he was doing wasn't entirely just, but to protect himself and those around him, He could only sacrifice some unrelated people. If he felt any guilt, it was because Bien Quan-vu had once invited him to join Baotuet City as a show of goodwill. However, Zhang Daik reassured himself internally, thinking, I have no choice. If there's only one way to survive, I choose to protect myself and those beside me. Afterward, Zhang Daik laid out the next plan for everyone. I'm telling you all this so you can mentally prepare yourselves. If the situation becomes uncontrollable and the Zhongnam team fails, we will have to leave Tianhai City. In my special ability space, we have ample supplies. So wherever we go, we can survive. The biggest regret is losing this shelter with its top-level defenses. He then instructed the non-combat personnel to stay dressed while sleeping in the coming days, ready to move at any moment. As for the combatants, their task was simple: be ready for battle and follow his orders. After Zhang Daik's speech, no one objected. Lu Diet curiously asked, so, who is our real enemy? The zombies or Bai Tuet sect? Zhang Daik took a deep breath, looked deeply at her, and said, it could be both. Facing tens of thousands of zombies and an extraordinarily powerful superhuman, the situation felt dire. They couldn't understand how Zhang Daik remained so calm. He took another deep breath and said, right now, I don't know what to say to comfort you, but this is the situation. You need to understand that. The worst-case scenario is that we will have to leave Tianhai City. If Bien Quan-vu fails, even if Nguyen Congde doesn't lead the zombie army to attack us, Zhongnam district won't show any mercy. Zhang Daik pointed to the sky. An attack, not unlike one from the Grim Reaper, will destroy the entire city of Tianhai in the blink of an eye. Everyone's expressions were mixed, but mostly grim smiles. If such a disastrous scenario occurred, they would have no chance of resisting. Zhang Daik leaned back on the sofa and continued, that's fate. What's meant to happen will happen. I've prepared everything, but while plans rely on people, success depends on the heavens. Whether everything proceeds as imagined is up to the will of the heavens. Though he and Duong Han had planned to deal with both the zombies and Bai Tuet sect, Zhang Daik acknowledged that the world was full of surprises. Therefore, he had arranged an escape route for everyone. If the plan failed, they would leave Tianhai City. As for Nguyen Congde, Zhang Daik knew her true hatred wasn't directed at him but at the larger forces. After all, after the apocalypse, their grudges were the deepest. She would target them first. Zhang Daik told everyone to go and prepare. The next thing they could do was pray. He mumbled to himself, I hope this plan goes smoothly. Then he took out his satellite phone and activated the recording device on the mouse. Let it guide Bien Quan-vu's group, he said. Elsewhere, the gray recording mouse, its red eyes glowing, began to move under his control. Don't miss out on the next exciting chapter. Make sure to follow and share this video, so you and your friends can enjoy the story together.